Mm-hmm.
All right, there's some questions here for you that a number of people have been wondering about, and hopefully we can clear some things up today. First question I got is from a viewer, I guess. Who are you guys? I thought all baby dolls were the same. How are you different from other doll groups?
Okay. Well, first and foremost, I am Melissa, and I am community scholar, founder and director of the New Orleans Society of Dance, Baby Doll Ladies. We are a continuation of a Mardi Gras tradition that started in 1912 as a street dance competition. We are keepers of a resurrection. The doll pioneers over the decades, over the years, chose us to pass on their blessings, their heirlooms, and untold stories. Other than the elders and maybe one or two revelers who were already on the scene when we formed our association, I really can't speak to any other so-called doll groups, the mission or the purpose that they serve. What I do know is that when we started our resurrection campaign, that it was with the intent to rekindle, a piece of a once dormant practice, that doll masking and jazz dance practice, and to inspire others in the process. So the results of what you see today spawns from our 2005 campaign or resurrection to help bring back that doll masking tradition.
Okay, sounds great. Next question is X of a viewer. How can we as a community support and expand the culture of doll masking and dancing?
Well, again, speaking to our own organization, I believe we've already started to expand and expound on the culture of the doll masking tradition in a number of ways. Artistically, for sure, just having the freedom of expression just through just creative expression. And we incorporate a teaching mission into what we do, right? We go into schools and we have motivational assemblies geared towards not just enrichment or movement, but also building confidence and esteem. Also incorporating a literacy component that, one of the assemblies that we've designed with the help of the educators amongst our membership is test pep rallies, and just reinforcing and reiterating the importance of education and how important that is from a K through 8th grade and ninth through 12th grade level of programs. 9th through 12th grade, many people don't know that we have a mentor-mentee cohort over the last several years. So one way that we are helping to expound in the community is through education in our schools. And any support of that endeavor also helps the tradition to continue to grow, in a number of different ways. So when you sponsor a doll, when we're granted an award through a number of foundations, that helps us to continue to do what we do.
Okay, sounds great. Another question is, how are you guys selected?
How we select our membership pool is first and foremost, there is a formal registration process, right? You go to the website. We encourage everybody to do their own research on what it is we represent, right? What we do. Aside from being a continuation of the tradition of doll masking and jazz dance, we're also a company of a dance company. And so, again, dance is at the root of not only what we do, but it's also the common thread of this whole tradition through the eras. It's as quiet as it's kept. Baby Doll Ladies were born out of a jazz phenomena. But how we're selected is, or how we select our membership pool is through registration, screening, and then You have a formal interview process, and then you're brought through a series of creative movement screenings, if you will. So just a little touch of how we select, who we select to be amongst our women of excellence in the network, Baby Doll Ladies Network.
It's not soundproof in here, y'all. I'm sorry. So if you hear a
It's
noise,
cool.
you probably will have to say
No problem.
it again. But I think you answered that question good.
Cool. All right. I'm going to go. You
You
ready?
good? Yeah.
Okay, and here we go. I'm going to come in off that last question. If I want to join but can't dance, what are my options?
Oh, it's many options for the novice or beginner dancer to join the ranks of the Baby Doll Ladies. One of the things we look for outside of your ability or willingness, let me just say, first of all, you have to have the desire, right? Many of our members may not have a background in dance, but there's a common love of an appreciation for the arts, performance arts. You know, it's dance, there's dance education, there's a dance theater in our background, but we encompass many aspects of the arts, especially visual arts. If you don't dance, that does not omit you from qualifying. That's why we call our process a screening, because we want to meet you where you are. What talents do you have? What assets do you have that you feel that you can contribute? Or likewise, okay, vice versa, that we could help enhance within you, within the network. So some of your options would be, in terms of Mardi Gras or making appearances, we have an auxiliary ranks. We have our dance company and we have our auxiliary ranks. Some of the ladies in the auxiliary ranks are vying and gearing up for and preparing to be trained further along the lines with creative movement, you know, so they can perform with the dance company. And others in the Mardi Gras parade are tray steppers, right? Those are the ladies that you see on the floor giving out the trinkets, you know, and pumping up the crowd. And then we have our mini float court. Okay, those are the ladies who qualify to stand out and be highlighted as staples in the community on the float. And they reign with the Grand Dame doll for the annual season. So there's many options, not just for Mardi Gras, but year round, to contribute to what we do for our programs and with some of the events that we take part in as well. So novice dancers are welcome for sure, or anyone that's got an appreciation for the arts.
Thank you. Here's another question I kind of like myself. Were all the original baby dolls of 1912 considered sex workers? And when and how did family become a backdrop of the baby dolls groups that walk the streets?
In my research with in tandem with the State Museum, through the chronicles of Robert J. McKinney, that theory, or the theory, that all baby dolls are sex workers is debunked. First off, let me tell you a little bit who Robert McKinney is. Robert McKinney was an African-American journalist, right, who wrote about the masking traditions in the Black community, himself being a native New Orleanian and African-American. He not only wrote about the baby dolls, but also covered much of the Zulu's history. Well, when it comes to the baby dolls, even though in the 40s he interviewed these women who referred to themselves as baby dolls, they noted to him how it all began in 1912. And one thing I found very interesting in his chronicles is, as the story is written, it mentions that these women went to a church lady who they felt would be the best to organize them to form their association. And so, number one, that in itself debunks the theory that they're all sex workers. Okay, this woman by the name of Leola Tate, okay, who women in the community leaned on to help them organize themselves, became their head leader. Also, regardless as to what I find, whatever their choice of profession or work or however they hustled where they hustled. Ain't nobody asked them to apologize, or asked for an apology for what they chose to do for a living. And number two, them being shake dancers, working in the dance halls, okay. The term even baby dolls, they did not bestow upon themselves. Again, that was born out of a jazz phenomenon. The musicians bestowed that term to them. So sex workers, no, a lot of them were domestics. I mean, a lot of them sewed. A lot of them were laundresses who washed clothes, did hair, were cooks. I mean, it's a lot that goes into, masking. So I think that whole sex workers theory, it really is it does not represent the whole.
Okay, also answer the question, when and how did family groups become a backdrop of the baby doll groups that walk the streets?
Again, it's my belief that family groups were always in the background of it all. Our matriarch, Miriam Baptiste Reed, okay, she was born in the 20s. Her mother formed her own association or club of dolls, okay? And they used to sew and wash clothes for the shake dancers back of town. So you see, New Orleans is like a frontier type of setting. There's nobody in a vacuum, right? It literally, takes a village to get some things done. So to say that family groups just popped out of nowhere and became, everyone is inspired by something or someone else, creatively inspired by something or someone else. But it's my belief that it was all in tandem. So yeah, you had these shake dancers, for example, who leaned on other women in the community to get other aspects of what they did and how they dressed and came together and organized, how they pulled it all together to get it done. So the family groups, interestingly enough, has the longest running history of doll masking. Never mind the Storyville aspect, so-called back town or Storyville proper aspect of doll masking. It's the family groups, right? It was born out of a benevolent thing, a social aid club, tradition. So since the 30s, well, there are some photos historically that we fell upon through our work with the State Museum that depicts this, groups of dolls from different neighborhoods representing where they're from across communities, dressed in different baby doll fashions, with the chippy dresses and the headpieces and the variations and the styles of the dresses and whatnot. And so there's a celebration that they had or it's noted in the photographs that they attended. This was actually during the 40s. And it just goes to show, again, how long or how even early after Storyville had closed, where you see family groups, also identifying with the doll masking as a form of their own identity.
All right. I got a series of questions that somebody asked. It's kind of just running right on true. And I'm going to just do them all and I'll give you a chance to answer them. It starts off with, do y'all do all parades for Mardi Gras? 1. Do y'all march with Zulu? 2. Do y'all perform with Indians on Super Sunday? 3.
All right, let's take those questions one at a time. So your first question is, do we perform?
Do y'all do all the parades for Mardi Gras?
Okay, so we do not do all the parades for Mardi Gras. We are more than a marching group, okay? It's not to say that we have never lent our talents to another crew in a form of a cultural exchange, if you will. If you've ever seen us in another parade, leading that parade, that's exactly, what the point of our appearance in another crew's parade would have been or was about. bringing awareness to the tradition. But we have our own Mardi Gras dance parade. We parade every Fat Tuesday since 2016. Right? We're right behind P Fountain's Half-Fast Walking Club and positioned right in front of Zulu. We're the only women's organization that parades on Mardi Gras Day. And as our dance parade continues to grow, which is something that we wanted to reestablish in our own community and stand out, have highlighted, is that the fact that we do have our own Mardi Gras Day dance parade. Now, locally, we are referred to as, people would recognize more so the term walking club. But because dance is at the root of what we do, we call our crew the masking crew of Baby Doll Ladies Mardi Gras Dance Parade. So yes, we started parading though, however, some people probably do have us or might be a little bit confused because when we...
That leads into the next question. Do we all march with Zulu?
So we started to rekindle our historic association in the community by marching in the Zulu parade in 2010. Again, that was to rekindle the historic association of the Baby Dolls because the Baby Dolls and the Tramps came out of the same neighborhood, Black Storyville, the stomping grounds of Louis Armstrong. Okay. As a matter of fact, in Robert McKinney's Chronicles, when he's interviewing these dolls in 1940s, it's also noted that Matoya, okay, who founded the Zulus, asked the Baby Dolls to parade or to march with them. And the Baby Dolls politely declined and told them, well, no, you hustle where you hustle. Y'all got y'all gang. And we're going to hustle where we hustle. We got our gang. See, they were out to garner business, the Baby Dolls, back then. And so, for us, it was just reestablished in that association of which they originated, the neighborhoods that they originated from. So at the request of Jimmy Felder at the time in 2010, who was the king, who had asked us by way of my cousin, who was the coronation chairman at the time, Mr. Andre Morgan, we obliged and we said, well, of course, it would be an honor for us to debut or come back or bring back that nostalgia. So in 2010, we paraded with Zulu, and we paraded with Zulu from 2010 all the way through 2013. The year after, in 2014, right, we had the privilege and the honor of performing in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. This is the first time that the Baby Dolls tradition had been exported out of this place. Thereafter, upon our return, the city of New Orleans granted the Baby Doll Ladies with their own official parade route on Mardi Gras Day.
Thank you. Next question is, do y'all perform with the Indians on Super Sunday?
Our organization, our Baby Doll Ladies in particular, do not parade with the Indians on Super Sunday. It's not to say that there are others who might put on a dress and maybe revelers, who do that. But that is not something that we do. Our day is Mardi Gras Day, and we do have other appearances we make throughout the year.
Can we take a quick break here, Jazz?
Sure, yeah. You want me to stop recording?
Yes.
Okay. Give me 1 second.
Because I'm...
And give me one more clap.
Okay.
Whenever y'all ready.
All right. We got another question from an inquiring mind. What's your process when you come up with a routine for the main performance?
Oh, wait for that train. Train's home. Sorry, y'all.
That's all right.
Next studio we're gonna get is gonna be soundproof. Train.
Y'all right by the water too, so y'all get the tugboats and the train. Trust me, I know. I mean, I grew up right down here. We heard all of this. All the same train passes right past from right there, and the tugboats and all that. All of it passed right by where I lived. We hear all that.
That's so ridiculous.
I got used to it. I was like, okay. We never even heard it after a while. It's like people that live near the airport,
Right.
You don't hear the
It
jets.
just blends in. Okay. You good.
All right. Let me restart that question. Inquiring minds would like to know, what's your process when you come up with a routine for the main performance?
You know, as an artist, as far as ideas or uncommon ideas, they can be like inspired or induced just from, I don't know, a number of different ways. So there's like no particular process, so to speak, for how we envision, or I may come up with a theme or the dance. I will say that more so than not, I've had premonitions sometimes, even in my dreams. I've been inspired by or stimulated with certain music or sounds I might hear, or, you know, other artistic forms of expression. So the theme or how we present or develop an idea for the dance is usually after the fact, after we've, I've been inspired in one way or another, or just either musically or stimulated creatively in some sort of way. So it's all kind of like one aspect is built around the next, the even how we look or what we going to wear, our garb might precede the actual dance, but they may offer or lend some ideas as to, oh, this style or this moves or these moves are, fits best with this look type of thing. So it's really no process. It's just being stimulated, artistically stimulated somehow.
Okay. Here's a nice question here. Somebody asks, how come you guys don't match/dance with any other crew?
March might be a typo. Why we don't march or dance with other crews? Because we the only baby doll crew that do what we do.
Say it in one whole sentence.
Okay. So, okay. In answer to your question, as far as why the baby doll ladies don't march or dance with others, is because we the only baby doll group, crew, organization that do what we do. That's at the root of what we do. Even before we formally became distinctively known as baby doll ladies, dance is always at the root of what my background is. We're the only ones that bring it like we bring it.
Okay. And the other question is kind of related. Say, do we ever collaborate with other baby dolls groups? Why or why not?
I think for a spirit of collaboration, there has to be a meeting of like minds. And within our organization of Painted Faces of Baby Doll Ladies, we are all like-minded in the sense that we have a common goal or objectives that we lean and work towards. So if you're not like-minded, then there may not be a spirit of collaboration to pursue. And B, we've never been asked, as nobody's ever approached us.
True. Okay. This is a strange kind of a question here, in a comment as well. It says, people I spoke with as of today still think that you guys are part of the Tramps or Zulu, after asking and assuming which parade did we march in. They say also they do not know that you guys have an education program, and in Zulu we only do second line.
Okay, well, let me speak to the notion of us being or mistakenly being a part of the Tramps and the Zulu. I must say that I'm flattered to be in good company. These fellas for over 100 years themselves have been doing what they do and representing the Black community in their own way, of excellence, with the show of membership and the work that they do to the community. the work that they do in the community as well. And as I have been recently made aware, the Tramps consider us the best opener Mardi Gras Day that they could possibly have. So that in and of itself is a compliment. Yeah, we did, like I said before, start our historic, or we started to rekindle the historic association between the Baby Dolls and the Tramps when we first paraded in the community in 2010. That wasn't our first appearance in the community. That was just our first parade. But no, we are not a part of the Zulu parade. We have our own parade positioned in front of the crew of Zulu. Although we're not a super crew, we are technically identified as a walking crew. But the title, the name of our dance parade is Baby Doll Ladies Dance Parade, because we dance. That's what we do. That's at the root of what we do. So yeah, it's an honor to be the only women's organization out here Mardi Gras Day with the big boys.
Which leads me into another question. Why don't you guys have coconuts?
Well, coconuts, we don't have coconuts because coconuts is not our thing. That's Zulu thing. You know what I'm saying? We have, as our keepsake throws, we have our Baby Doll Ladies plush dolls. And it has, the painted face. It's got the baby doll dress, even the bloomers. It's super, super cute. And we've always had our Baby Doll Ladies bracelets with our insignia. So yeah, we got our own thing. We out here as innovating. So no, we don't need coconuts because that's not what we do.
Okay. One of our members also asked a question about the junior BDLs or collegiate BDLs. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So our junior unit of Baby Doll Ladies and the collegiate unit of Baby Doll Ladies started as a pilot several years ago, actually right after COVID, and as a means to also carry on the tradition and give it that staying power, right? We realize the importance and the value of our youth and imparting knowledge and wisdom and better understanding of all things to them as well. So we developed a mentor-mentee cohort where we actually help them through professional development and artistic development to pursue their dreams and their endeavors, whether they're going to college or just to help set them up for a successful life after high school, right? We pair them with women in the organization that have similar interests or professions that can be a pillar of support. And there is a whole program associated with that these ladies embark upon over the summer months, going into the school year if they're still in high school, as well as tracking them in their progress and still being a pillar of support to them thereafter graduation. We have a few ladies now who are in college, both at LSU and Xavier, who are still with us today, helping us to continue that tradition. So yeah, it's been very fulfilling for both the mentors and the mentees.
Okay, thank you. This is a question posed by yet another viewer. Says, someone asked me once, if we are trying to embrace our Black excellence, why do we paint our faces white?
So, yes, let's address the painted faces. When the idea of putting an image or some sort of visual to the name Baby Doll Ladies came about in my mind, it was only a form of artistic expression that drove me personally to want to have a blank canvas that could emulate all colors. Now, as far as this blackface, whiteface thing, well, first of all, I have never heard of the term whiteface. Somebody gonna have to define for me what that is and where that came from and who invented that, okay? But the racist aspect that others tried to impose upon our artistic expression was and is nowhere on the radar. Our painted faces is our own form of the Venetian mask, the Mardi Gras mask, our take, our spin on it. And what it represents is freedom of expression. All colors of the rainbow are beautiful. It just so happens that the canvas that you see, and it baffles me because of all the colors on our face, some others choose to just hone in on the white part of the face, which serves as our canvas, which helps to illuminate all colors. But that's the color that some choose to focus on. Now, as far as the racial aspects, the Black excellence, that is neither here nor there. There are many known tribes across Africa who also use white paint as a form of symbolism, okay, on their face or faces that they embellish with white clay. Right? There are other colors that they use as well, but there are many tribes, including Zulu, including Maasai, including the Sand Bushmen, and including the Yoruba in Africa. So go ask them, why do y'all use white on y'all face if you are trying to embrace Black excellence, Black power, Black whatever, okay? Because that is neither here nor there. To all my militant brothers and sisters, and those who just may not be aware or just don't know. But no, our beautifully designed, painted faces of all colors, we use black, we use white, we use every color under the rainbow, is our choice of creative expression, period, point blank.
I think that answers it. It's another question. Are you all a dance team? Where do you all perform?
Okay, so let me straighten this out. We're not a dance team. We're not a homegirl network of no offense to the homegirl networks and the dance groups and whatnot, okay? But we are a combination of different levels of dance performance. This is true. But we are a professional dance company. I've been dancing all my life, right? I mean, so prior to the organization being Baby Doll Ladies, all right? But then when we formed as an official troupe, official dance company, we embarked upon other endeavors through dance, not just Mardi Gras parades. I'm talking about performing for clandestine events. I'm talking about performing on revered stages. I'm talking about opening up for notable acts. So dance production is our specialty. That's what we do. We happen to embrace all levels of performance when it comes to being a baby doll or a baby doll lady, because we're going to work with what you got. And we're going to build the choreography around those that's willing and wanting to learn and be empowered through dance, right? So, but we're not a dance team. We bona fide. We're a dance company.
Next question is, somebody asked, I have been asked, why do they dress like baby dolls? And why do they come out on Mardi Gras Day?
So why do baby dolls dress like baby dolls, and why do baby dolls come out on Mardi Gras Day? Historically, that speaks to how the tradition originated. All on a Mardi Gras Day in 1912. A group of shake dancers from back of town paraded up and down the Basin Street line to try to outdo all the other women in the neighborhood and they so-called gentlemen. Again, it was the musicians. It was the musicians who came up with that term of endearment or connotation for the women who danced, in these honky tonks and jazz clubs. So when they came out, they wanted to personify that term, baby dolls, with, the curly locks and, the toyish the toy dollish figurine look, and it just was something that just caught on over time. So it was just a part of tradition.
I also understand that it took on a secondary meaning when, in later times, when some of the young children and the adults couldn't get a hold to a black baby doll.
Right. Later on, through eras of times of Jim Crow. Well, first of all, anybody black, whether you're baby doll or not, our history, shows that we had been at a disadvantage. Okay. Our matriarch tells a story of her reason for wanting to dress and mask as a baby doll, and it is because of the lack of representation, for our children, seeing themselves, with any kind of toys or representations that look like them. It was very hard to come by, if at all. So to be a living doll, on top of that, and then to spread joy and then, bring a little sunshine, to children, motivated her to want to do that, to be like, okay, well, we may not have, our toy dolls, but I could represent, in that way and be an example of hope to our children, just by coming out and donning the garb. So yeah, no, there's definitely that aspect of it too, where, blacks and black children did not have that sort of representation at all, especially children in terms of the toys and things.
Okay. I'm going to switch a little bit. Somebody asked a question. Why is the baby doll ladies important to the New Orleans culture?
Well, I'm going to say the baby doll ladies and what we represent and continuing 100 years of tradition, it's important not just to New Orleans culture, it's important to American pop culture. Because it is the first women's street masking practice in the United States. Period. And it was born out of jazz. Universal, we are the birthplace of jazz.
Cool. So that other question that follows up, the same person asks, how sponsors and community leaders can support the baby doll ladies through sponsorships, scholarships, features, or whatever.
You just go to babydollladies.com and reach out if you want to support any endeavors or missions that we serve through the community, through exporting, bringing about more awareness and appreciation, not just for the baby doll masking culture, but the black masking culture in general, right? So, there are different ways and ideas along the years, that we have embarked upon with others in collaboration, in a means of collaboration to do just that. So yeah, those, that want to be a part of this movement that we got going on, all you gotta do is reach out.
And one other person made a comment, but they want to be sure that you provided an answer, a clear direction on what it means to be a baby doll lady and what kind of influence or impact we would like to have on the black community. What does it mean to be a baby doll lady?
To me, what it means to be a baby doll lady is working together, uplifting and empowering one another. Baby doll ladies is not one-sided, it's a two-way street. You bring to this organization gives back to all of its members. Any endeavors, pursuit of your careers, pursuing your dreams. Matter of fact, that's one of the screening questions that we ask our candidates, is how do you see the baby doll ladies or this organization being of service to you? How can we help you enhance or reach your goals? So it's working together. So we are family in that sense. We uplift one another. And that makes us strong. We might be, in some people's eyes, small, one of the smaller based, I feel we are one of the larger, if not largest, baby doll masking groups. We a crew. But in terms of like super crew, we might be small, but we mighty. We come together to help all of our people achieve their goals and their dreams. That's what it means. That's that sisterhood, through thick and through thin. Not just riding when the tide is high, but sometimes when you gotta go and go reflect and rebuild and sticking around and getting through some things together and seeing that there's potential for growth too, because we not the same that we was in 2012, and we don't plan on being the same in 2036, right? We still evolving, thinking of ways of how we can be a long-term footprint in the community and how we can help other organizations and Black groups through the work that we're doing, or community organizations through the work that we're doing. One of which is the space that we envision next for this organization. You know, having a space within the community as a cultural and creative hub that not only the baby doll ladies can utilize, but others around us in film, visual arts, bring in whatever they got as far as an educational mission inside our Black Box Theater, inside of the space that we can share with others in the community. That's what we about. That's what Baby Doll Ladies is about: growth, inspiring, and being an example of hope to others.
I have no more questions.
You show?
I got one.
Come on with it, Jazz.
You know how like on Mardi Gras Day you were saying y'all are passing the torch?
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me a little bit about that? What y'all were saying?
Yes. So.
Wait for this buzzing.
Okay, gotcha.
I think it's a guy who works over there as a saw.
Oh, okay, yeah, some kind of equipment,
Yeah,
huh?
okay, something like
It's
that.
a little pan compressor.
Yeah.
So he's painting or either spraying or something.
Yeah, something. All right. Okay.
So yeah, just to elaborate on our theme, our whole season, the theme for this year, the 2024 theme is passing the torch, because it ain't over. We just beginning. Passing of the torch, it has a few different meanings to us. Our matriarch, Miriam Baptiste Reed, transitioned this lifetime on last year in 2023. And although privately, behind the scenes, between her and her family and those who were near and dear to her heart had already embraced the Baby Doll Ladies, taken us into their fold just like family, and passed on their heirlooms and whatnot, it was when she passed that we decided that we wanted to do a tribute to her. And that entailed having, a public commemoration of what had already been established. So passing of the torch didn't just happen this year. It's just that we just publicly announced it this year for all who were not aware of the passing of the torch. So there's that aspect of it. So yeah, you have the passing of the torch from one matriarch to the next, but also the passing of the torch in terms of the continuation of this metamorphosis of the Baby Doll Ladies, if you will, right? The idea that, okay, we're bringing on, and we bringing on strong every year, another arm of junior Baby Doll Ladies ambassadors. And they're being entrenched in the culture of what that means, what that looks like, and how they can make it their own, how they can take ownership of it, right? So our future looks really, really, really bright in terms of the passing of the torch is concerned. Again, the passing of the torch, not just through the people we serve and represent, but also the endeavors that we are pursuing as well, and how we can be of, a use, for the community, how we're thinking of ways where, again, we can center, some of our missions around what's needed, and I feel like the hub, the dollhouse, if you will, is what we're working on next, can actually serve, a lot of that purpose. But so passing of the torch, that's exactly what it is for us, not just this year, but going forward. So we're not just passing the torch, we keeping the flame alive, right? And we're going to carry that torch, as long as we all live, as long as we got breath in our body.
That's it. That's all I had.
That's all I got. If you want to stop and take a look, the questions, some of them just repeat. I think I asked.
That feel like it went by too fast. You come through, they want to dance with us. They want to dance with us. They don't want to just watch us dance. That's part of bringing. All right, well, come on. I guess. Right.
Just go back and say it just like you
So
did.
there's a crass comment that was made about us parading along the route and people hardly, or whoever the viewer was, not noticing us in a structured form lineup, as far as the dance is concerned. And, we freestyle. Well, I'll have you know that as dancers, there is a such thing as called creative movement. There is a such thing as called choreographed movements as well. See, we're a dance parade because we are an immersive experience for the parade goer. Our viewers, or the people who come out and see and look and wait for us to pass by, they want to dance with us. So we invite them to dance with us. Now, it might just depend on where you catch us in the route, along the route, as to when you see a more structured or formal routine. But when we out there and we freestyle and we second line, and that's what the spirit of it is. That's what it is, right? On Super Sunday, when you see people doing their footwork and whatnot, what you say, that they need more practice? No, look like to me they got a lot of creative expression in their footwork. As far as I'm concerned, that's what we born out of, right? That's what we descendants of. The so-called street jazz. That's what that's called. It's not just freestyle. So in terms of practice, I will have you know, and you can ask any member, I don't think anybody feels in our ranks that they need more practice. We so practiced that we are tired out. When we are hauling, and that's another thing that people don't understand, we are gunning for Gallia Hall every year since 2016. Since we've had our own. Even before then, when we were marching with Zulu, we would stop and put on a show at Gallia Hall, at Lafayette Square, right? Not just for the parade goers, but for the viewers who are tuning in. And that's what they look forward to. That's why it's called master performance. That's where you're going to get your Herald Square, if you will, version of what we do. That choreography there. Now, it just depends on, how the news might be showing it, or what angle they're showing it from. We do our best and we post the routine in its entirety thereafter on Mardi Gras Day. But baby, dance is what we do. We don't have nothing to defend and we don't have nothing to prove about our talents because we do it all. We second line, we freestyle, we do choreographic works. That's what we're known for. That's what we're known for.
Not to mention your stage plays.
Well, yeah, we also have our mini cabaret and our full-length cabaret, which is mostly like dance theater. So I also want to point out, too, that we do more than just dance. We have a chant and dance ensemble, an act that we've been developing for several years behind the scene now, right? So, there was another question that lent itself to, like, well, how do you know when the organization needs to grow? Because the organization tells me what direction to move in, right? We just live in it. We artists, we a living tradition. We don't always sit down and jot out, 5 years from now, we want to see us. I mean, everybody has like long range goals business-wise, but creatively, the organization dictates to us what avenue, what direction we go in next. The idea of us chanting was just a natural progression. My mentor, bless his soul, Eddie Papa Duke Edwards, was a jazz historian and master jazz drummer. And he wrote the first chant for the Baby Doll Ladies. And he saw something in us that I didn't even envision at the time, over a decade ago, when he wrote our first chant, Fire. And we got in the studio and we recorded that thing, and it became quietly part of our act on stage. The more you have to say, the more statements you are trying to make, the more impressions that you want to leave with your followers, and you want to influence them in certain ways, it's a natural progression for us to now be vocal about that. So even in the cabaret, with the lines that we were delivering, with rhythm and percussion, it just became a natural progression for us to get in the studio now and say, you know what? We got some original works that has potential to be on another stage, another level of, for an audience to experience outside of the kids' tent at Jazz Fest, outside of parading on the Jazz Fest grounds, outside of everything else that we are capable of and continue to do, okay, we're building an act with live musicianship behind us now, right? We're going in the studio. We got archives of chants that we standing by to record, and things take time because nothing done right ever happens in a hurry. But the growth aspect is just organic, right? If you continue in something, you're not going to be the same that you was in 1912, whatever year you first started. You're going to continue to just naturally progress. And that's what we're doing. We're not standing still, right? So yeah, through dance theater, through the music, the masking, and the dance, that's how we're growing, as well as with the teaching missions and, right, just forward momentum with those that see and believe in the same common interests. As high as far as we could take this rocket, we going. We're a rocket ship. We don't stand still. We taking flight.
Thank you.
Great. Amazing.
Yeah, that part. I wanted to say that. Okay,
Well,
you
you
see
finally
it?
found yourself, okay? That's all I gotta say. That's yourself in this last